Our time is now, our rights, our future. This is the theme of the International Day of the Girl Child celebration this year. A child is a gift of God, and there's always cause for celebration when a child is born in a family. However, there's a stark contrast to this celebration in our country, India, where the birth of a girl child is a cause for despair. In some parts of our country, female feticide is still rampant till this day, in spite of our country having been independent for 75 years. However, the scenario in the state of Meghalaya is a bit different, as here we follow the matrilineal system, that is, lineage is taken from the mother. The birth of a girl child is therefore a cause for celebration. However, we must understand that simply celebrating a girl child's birth is not the end. It should imply opportunities be opened to do that so that she can pursue her dreams and aspirations. It is only through good governance and education can such goals be achieved. Then we can truly say that the girl children can live their lives in a world where their voices truly matter.
Hello viewers, and welcome to a very special program, and we here in Doordarshan Kendra Shillong are going to celebrate and talk about the girl child, because we are here to celebrate the International Girl Child's Day. Ever since 2011, the International Girls Child's Day has been observed, and on the 11th of October every year is designated as one. It was the United Nations General Assembly who has set aside this date to honor and to celebrate the girl child. And it is also a reminder to each one of us the crucial importance, the potential, and the overall need to protect the girl child. But however, saying so, there are also issues that concerns the girl child. Just because of gender inequality, she has to face a lot of discrimination, a lot of injustice, a lot of violence, and be it in the field of education, there are quite a number of cases where dropout rates is the highest when it comes to the girl child. Early marriage is also a concern, and it is said that 2 out of every 4 girl children face discrimination based on gender inequality. When in the state of Meghalaya, when we come to this state, there are also gross cases where we have come across violence being perpetrated on the girl child. There are cases of early pregnancy, of dropouts, especially amongst the girl child, etc., etc. So we are here to focus our attention once again on the girl child, and to do so, we are being joined by 2 of our panelists here in the studio, and let me go ahead and introduce them to you. To my extreme left is C. Malnyang. She is the Legal Cum Protection Officer, District Child Protection Unit of East Khasi Hills District of Meghalaya. We are also being joined by Arnisha Mary Karneor. She is the Program Head of Faith Foundation. So there you have it, 2 of our panelists here. A very, very warm welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for coming to the studios of Doordarshan, and that the fact that we are going to celebrate and talk about the girl child today, because we are a matrilineal here in the state, and it is so important also to understand and to bring the focus back to the girls once again. Thank you for your time. I come to you, Kara Malnyang. You are the Legal Cum Protection Officer of the district. What does this job actually entail? If you can just elaborate for us a bit.
Actually, ma'am, I'm the Legal Cum Probation Officer.
Right.
In my line of work as a Legal Cum Probation Officer, basically I have to deal with children in conflict with law.
Okay.
So these children in conflict with law and children in contact with law, when they have to face the Juvenile Justice Board, that is the time when I deal with these type of children, and they may be boys and also girls.
Okay.
So in the District Child Protection Unit, we also have protection officers. These protection officers also are, one is the institutional care that looks after the institutional children in childcare institutions, and another is the protection officer, non-institutional care. That officer is looking after the aftercare, the foster care, and also the adoption.
Okay. So as you said, you are the legal cum probation officer.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, we stand corrected.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for letting us know a little bit more as to your, what really entails when it comes to your job. Let's come to Arnisha. Arnisha, you are from an NGO and a foundation called Faith Foundation. You are more into intervention program. Tell us a little bit of what Faith Foundation is involved with.
So Faith Foundation is a child rights organization, and we work primarily on the prevention of child sexual abuse, but at the same time working for the empowerment of girls and women.
Okay.
So our intervention lies in the, like I mentioned, prevention of child sexual abuse, whereby we conduct these personal safety education programs in schools.
Okay.
So this is a child sexual abuse preventive program. We also work with adolescent girls through Ultimate Frisbee. It's a sport where we build and improve, first of all, physical health of girls, stamina, build their confidence and leadership skills. So and also we work with a group of youth called Shalintan. Our main goal is to actually bring about community ownership when it comes to the addressing of violence against children.
That's wonderful, really, community participation. I think we all need to take some kind of cognizance to the fact and play a role in the overall, overall well-being of the girl child. Now, coming back to another of my question, International Day of the Girl Child, which is observed every year on 11th of October. This day is significant, isn't it? Because we are bringing our focus once again to the girl child. Can you tell us why, Kara, why do we need to celebrate the girl child specially?
Girls are special. Being a woman now, I remember myself in my childhood days. Our childhood was very different. During those days, our parents, they really take care of us. And also from the perspective of the community, even in the community also, the girls were very...
Yeah, they were looked after, right?
Yeah,
I mean, on the whole, not just the family.
not just the family,
not just
even
the
in the
family.
locality also.
Right.
Everyone is concerned about a girl, whether she is happy, she is sad, and the most important thing about her is even the mother also, she takes priority regarding a girl child.
She had the time also.
Yeah.
These days there is a lack of time,
Yeah.
especially with working women and women engaged in other activities too. Arnisha, if I may come, you yourself, you're a very young person yourself. How, despite that, I would like to ask you, since you're dealing with the girls, what is your thought about this, the significance of this day, and why is it so necessary to celebrate the girl child, especially in the context of Meghalaya?
So Meghalaya is a matrilineal society, right? And I think so the birth of a girl child is celebrated.
Absolutely.
This is one of the society that is mostly praised about, there is no discrimination when it comes to whether it's a, you have a boy or a girl, right? But if we look at the ground realities, so of course there might not be like very vivid kind of, these discriminations or inequalities, but working in the villages that we are currently, we see that there are certain opportunities that girls are not able to access because of the amount of because of their gender, first of all, because their responsibilities related to them being females. So it is important why, of course, globally we know that, when it comes to education or health or accessing public spaces or, sports, girls, they lag behind. In India, we see a gradual increase, of course, but the accessibility, when it comes to accessibility, there's very it is minimal.
Yes, compared, when we compare to the
yes,
to the boys.
comparatively to men, it is minimal. So if we talk about girls, of course, I mean, like Konkara already mentioned, that being a girl and being a female myself, I'm proud that I am one, and the potential that we have, right? But with all the things that's going around, and if we are not provided with the right kind of platform, we will have self-doubt.
I mean, it is so important and so wonderful that you brought out this something called potential. Girls have equal potential, and we are seeing that in different fields, the way the girls are excelling. But despite that, the mindset of the society is such that, you know, if there is a boy and a girl, there is discrimination. Maybe a boy will be allowed to do certain things and a girl will be restrained a little bit more at home. So what are the problem areas, Kara, where within this society, where we see a lot of discrimination especially, which are those focused areas that we should talk about, where you are witnessing there are discriminations and injustice that happen especially to girls because they are girls?
That would be in the context of education, as it is. Because in the rural areas, most often time we see that the eldest daughter, she has to stay away from school, because why? She has to look after her younger siblings. And oftentimes she is the caretaker of her younger siblings. Even the cooking and taking care of the household work, which is supposed to be done by the parents, especially the mother,
it's thrusted on
it's thrusted on the girl child. So those are the main things that needs to be looked into, especially in the rural areas.
Okay, and so she misses out on her education also, because she's more involved in the domestic chore, right? And something more you would like to add, Arnisha?
Yeah, so in the villages that we work with, and also around across Meghalaya, we see that there's an increase in teenage pregnancy, right? Like 7.9% is the rate of teenage pregnancy in Meghalaya, and it's higher than the national average of 6.8. So that is one of the problem that even in the villages that we work with, the community members have shared it with us. And what we found is that I can link it with what Konkara has mentioned, that the responsibilities that these children take up, especially girls, at the age of 14 or so, let's say, they start thinking that they themselves are matured enough to have their own families because of the amount of responsibilities that they have started taking up.
They mature earlier.
Yes. So they have that, also that notion that they are matured to you know, have a family of their own. Child sexual abuse, again, that's something that we as an organization, it's the core of our work. And discussing with Konkara here, we see that, of course, while it happens to boys as well, the proportion of you know, violence against girls is higher.
Yeah, it is so important, these things that you're talking, because it is a reality, you know. We cannot shun it anymore, we cannot brush it under the carpet anymore. It is real. You know, and this child who is herself a child loses out on her childhood. It is a sad reality. Child marriage, I think this is there is a very toxic relationship. You know, this is a toxic thing that emanates from you know, gender equality as well as economic inequality that is there in society. So parents think that it is better to get the child married off because, you know, we are poor, we cannot afford, so might as well get the child. I mean, when I'm talking about the context of the country as well, but here also we have seen, right, there is a lot of early marriage, and then the girl is burdened with so many pregnancies, you know. I mean, obviously they don't are not aware of family planning, etc., and the burden is so heavily. And then there is if the man happens to leave her with so many children behind, it's a sad reality. More on this, what is your, therefore, what kind of interventions therefore is going on in this regard?
Actually, ma'am, frankly speaking, I should say that we used to say that in our society there is a cohabitation. It's not a child marriage. It is recognized as a cohabitation. But even from the local darbars also, they gave these certificates to these individuals.
Yeah.
if to recognize that cohabitation
Okay.
in their relationship. It's not a marriage.
Okay.
So that is the crux of the matter, because why? If at least from the level of the community, if we have that recognition that at least dissuade young teenagers to have a relationship, it's okay to have, I mean, to have a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah,
but
because there's so much of
Yeah.
social sanction that
Yeah,
is there.
yeah.
Yeah, so it almost
So-
becomes legal.
Yeah, yeah. From our office, actually, the district child protection officer is the child marriage prohibition officer. So in the context of our state, Meghalaya, we don't have child marriages, but we do have cohabitation. So the problem lies in that. And when we go outside the state, when the figure about that is being asked about from us, we cannot give the figure that there's a child marriage in our state.
Okay.
Because most in child marriages, there should be a solemnization. So that is the crux of the matter, and
Yeah.
it's very difficult to pinpoint where to place these children who are already having children in their young age also.
Right. And this is a very difficult situation, I think, because when social sanction is there, when maybe at the rural areas the community is accepting this,
Yeah.
you know, then the intervention becomes difficult, Kara. I mean, Arnisha.
So what I've seen through my work is that, of course, this is an issue that most communities are facing. Parents, when we have meetings with parents, they do tell us that, you know, teenage pregnancy is there, and we want our children to, you know, not be, you know, engaged in any of that, or to reduce teenage pregnancies, right? So as you know, teenage pregnancy is not only the problem. So there are several consequences, right? So education is one.
Yes.
Her education will be stopped. Her health,
Right.
and the health of the baby, and economically, how are they going to survive?
Right.
And it is also like a vicious circle. There will be a vicious cycle of violence, you know, domestic violence that way. And you know, so looking at teenage pregnancy in that way, not just one problem, but a culmination
It
of
leads to many other
different
problems also,
other
right.
problems, right? So I know that the society, I mean the communities are also trying their best to actually, you know, try to reduce or curb teenage pregnancies, but the matter of fact is that it still exists. So what my thought is, the intervention should lie in giving information, the right kind of information. Now, if you look at, I was just looking at the NFHS, you know, report. It says that the incident, the first incident of you know, sexual intercourse actually leads to you know, teenage pregnancies, which means that they don't have the right information, like
On
adolescents
family planning,
don't have
right.
the right information as to what is happening when they do all this, right? Information is available, of course, online, but is that right information? So I think so the intervention lies in us as a society, as NGOs, as other stakeholders, to actually give the right kind of information. How long can we say no, it is not appropriate to give sex education to children? Because the matter of fact is this: teenage pregnancy is high.
Right.
So what do you do? I mean, you cannot just say don't do it. That is not going to stop.
Yeah, and that is not the solution.
And that is not the solution.
Yeah, because an informed society is an empowered society, right? So this is what is so important, and this, in fact, that you have brought out sex education in school, not just in the urban areas, but especially in the rural areas, because teenage pregnancy is higher in the rural areas, right? Because maybe they don't have other avenues of entertainment, and you know, parents also feel that, you know, get them off married early or cohabit, as you said, etc. Coming to another point which we hear so often being reported in newspapers and television, etc., is violence against girl children. I mean, the other day also I happened to read somewhere in, you know, in the state, that a girl child on her way back from school was, you know, attacked by two men, and almost molested and almost raped, and she kind of escaped, a school child. So this is just one immediate, but there are so many cases that are getting reported as well as not reported. Let us address quickly the issue of violence, crimes, rapes, etc., which we thought in our society was unheard of once upon a time, but it is very much evident. Kara, your thoughts on this?
Actually, ma'am, in our office, the District Child Protection Unit, we get these cases, but these cases are being informed through the Child Welfare Committee.
Okay.
The Child Welfare Committee is also one of the committees which look after these children, and we are the rehabilitators from our office. The reason being that once a child is referred to the Child Welfare Committee, then the Child Welfare Committee gives an order regarding support, especially if it's a victim, whether it's a girl or a boy. But basically, most of the cases that comes to our office is of girls.
Okay.
Girl child being attacked and molested or sexually abused, as it is. So once the child is brought into our purview, there is a support person who is being appointed by the Child Welfare Committee only. And that order goes through the IO, that is the officer in charge, who looks after the case, the investigating officer. And that order also goes to the special court regarding any assistance that is being given to the child through our office.
Right. I mean, it's wonderful that you're doing all that, but coming back to you, Arnisha, the fact that a girl has to go through it, I mean, she's scarred for life, isn't she? She's scarred for life. However much intervention, however much protection, however much psychological, counseling is done, but it remains embedded. And what about violence that is committed within the private space of the family? Right? I mean, that we all hush it up because, the mother will hush it up and the family will hush it up. But a lot of violence, a lot of sexual violence is going on within the family circuit also.
Yeah. You rightly said this, because 97.2% of the perpetrators of crimes against children, so including girls and boys, are family members or are people who are known to the child.
Right.
So yes, Meghalaya, according to the National Crime Records Bureau, it ranks third in the country when it comes to POCSO cases, and this is considering the population of Meghalaya. No, we are a very small state, and when it comes to the perpetrator being a family member, of course, there has been cases where the family wants to hush it up, compromise,
Right.
Because it's the father, it's the brother, it's an uncle. Right? So we are trying as an organization to raise awareness on this. But of course, I think so from the side of the District Child Protection Unit as well, they are doing an incredible job of, raising awareness. And I can say teenage pregnancy is also a result of sexual abuse. There are sexual abuse cases of girls where it results into pregnancy because of lifelong or for a period of time they've been sexually abused by their fathers or anybody in the family. So there is a need, an immediate need for people also to understand that child sexual abuse, like you said, or violence against girls scars them for life. It's easy to say that no, it's a child of 7-year-old, so they won't remember, but they ultimately do.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Subconsciously they will,
They do.
and that child or when grows into an adult and a woman, I mean, that's why I think we have so many cases also of social cases of concern. Children at a very early stage take into substance abuse, etc., because there is a link to that also. Kara, when it comes to substance abuse, is there a figure or is there some kind of percentage? Is it done? We generally say it's children, but what about when it comes to girl child especially?
Actually, ma'am, for the knowledge of the public also, we have a rehabilitation center for children, which is run by Kripa Foundation.
Yeah, right.
This is also registered under the Juvenile Justice Act, because as it is, childcare institutions, all childcare institutions who runs institutions where children are placed, those who are below 18 years, they have to be registered under the Juvenile Justice Act, as it is. So regarding the children who comes to these centers, there have been children who go for detoxification especially in hospitals. So through Kripa only, these children, they go for these detoxification and then they go for the treatment in the center.
Right, right.
But most of the children that come in these centers at present are boys.
Right. You know, I think, you know, there is again a social discrimination here, because, you know, we accept certain things that boys are capable of doing. Perhaps there are girls also, but again it is hushed up within the family, you know. However, having laid in front of us so many of these problems which are real, which are there, and many more other types of problems that are there, what is the solution? Where should we as a community, as parents, as elders, and as a government play a role? Quickly, a quick thoughts before we wrap up. Which are the kind of solutions that is therefore required?
In regards to, especially for girl children, if any child who is found to have these habits of at least sniffing or any kind of drug related issue, at least refer to a professional who is adept or able to deal with that kind of child, because no one can just counsel a child just like that. So basically most of the time we see that people, they do not go to the correct places. Either they go here and there and just inquire, and then they don't even know whether a medication can help them or not, and sometimes even just hospitalize them. And there are cases where even those children, especially who are into abuse, they may have these withdrawals, as we say, no? And sometimes they may do different things which were not allowed in the society, and children especially do not understand that their use is what has affected them, and they become like that. So as adults, we have to be the ones who take responsibility to at least refer these children to the correct places.
Okay. Now that comes when it comes to substance abuse. I'm talking generally about so many issues that we are talking about. Arnisha, where is the way forward? I know people like you, people like your foundation, organizers, NGOs are there in the ground, are doing their bit. What more needs to be done?
I think so. There needs to be, strengthening of mechanisms that are already existing.
Right.
First of all, involve the community. That's very important, because we cannot work in silos. The government cannot work alone, NGOs cannot work alone, and community cannot be left alone. So community ownership is important. They are the ones, they should be the first responders. Like how it is for COVID, they should also do for addressing violence or addressing discrimination. And also what I want to say, because we were talking about abuse and we were talking about teenage pregnancies, age appropriate and language appropriate information should be given to children to talk about, or girls specifically, to talk about safety, right? And to also know the consequences of what will happen if they engage in sexual activities. But this should be age appropriate, not something that will be too, explicit.
Yeah.
So that is something that we need to do, because right now the conventional way of giving awareness is
not working.
Not working at
not
all.
working.
As an organization, that is something that we are
in
seeing.
any case, children are engaged in technology. They have the mobile phone with them. All information is there, you know. Whether we like to accept it or not, information is at their fingertips. And sometimes they actually are accessing wrong information, and so they're going to the wrong direction. Monitoring what a child is doing at home or in school, and to have a more friendly interactive session with the girl child especially, and with children in general, is very important, I think, for parents and for educators, for teachers, etc., and even for community members, right? We can go on and on discussing. There's so many more issues to be actually talked about, but unfortunately this much is the time that we have. However, so many important points you all both have shared with us. Thank you so much, Kara, and thank you so much, Arnisha. Wonderful to have both of you in the studio, and thank you once again for giving us so much of information. I'm sure our viewers who are watching this program today are enlightened, and they will now focus their attention more on the girl child, and whatever our experts here have spoken, you will take a cue or two and think about it, and let us all actually work together to make this society a better place, because at the end of the day, it is the girl child actually who is the most important responsible person to take a society forward and let that forward be a good and a progressive as well as a healthy one. Thank you so much for both of you for coming to the studio, and of course our viewers too for watching this program. And until next time, from all of us here in the studio is wishing you goodbye.